He wanted to acquire supernatural powers. The monk said, just these three mantras, all the supernatural will be yours. Tenali Ramakrishna went into a haystack. 3 days it was kept burning. After 8 months, Tenali Rama arrived. Akbar introduced him to everyone as his brother. He said, you can give Birbal to me. Mind is a way to liberate life, unleash the power of the mind. This can be very easily done to you. What do you mean, everything? Why we are referring to the mind as a circus? Circus is not a mess. Circus is a very coordinated activity, made to look like a mess. Deliberately made to look like a mess, but an extremely well-coordinated activity. That's what circus is. So the circus of the mind, if you have to experience it as a miraculous, coordinated activity rather than as a mess, the most important and crucial thing is your intellect is not identified. Because once it's identified, your perception is so distorted, and this distortion permeates into every aspect of your life. You definitely have heard of Akbar and Birbal. When Akbar was an infant, his mother died. Or because she was a queen, they got another woman to breastfeed Akbar. And obviously that woman had a son. Then Akbar grew up into a great emperor. Because this woman had breastfed the emperor, they had given a whole village to her. And that boy also grew up into a man, but not much of a man. And he wasted and squandered the opportunity. He owned the whole village, but he wasted it and squandered it and lost it. And he was going through bad times. So one day, he thought, anyway, my mother has breastfed the emperor, so he owes something to me. In a way, I'm his brother. If I go and ask him something, he cannot refuse. With this idea, he came to Akbar. When he came, Akbar treated him with great respect, welcomed him in his court, honored him, introduced him to everyone as his brother, because both of them have drunk the milk of the same mother. And he stayed as a guest, attended many meetings which he could not understand the head or tail of. He was totally out of place. But Akbar took him around well-dressed, like his brother. After being there for a few weeks, he thought, my misfortune is only because I don't have good people around me. See, Akbar has such wonderful people. Above all, he has Birbal. That's why he's doing so well. If only I also had someone like Birbal around me, I would also become a great man. He expressed this to Akbar. He said, you have Birbal and you have become so great. If I could also have someone like Birbal, you have so many people, you can give Birbal to me. Now, this boy is a few days older to Akbar, and Akbar treated him as an elder brother. When his elder brother requests, give something to me, I'm in bad times, he could not refuse. So Akbar said, you can take Birbal. When Birbal came that evening, Akbar announced in the court, Birbal is leaving with my brother, my elder brother, tomorrow morning. Birbal looked at this situation that he has to go with this fool to the village. And Birbal immediately said, "Oh, your majesty, your elder brother definitely needs wise company, but I have a better idea. I can send my elder brother with him. Is that okay?" they asked. So that man looked at this, if Birbal is so wonderful, his elder brother must be even more wonderful. He said, "That's fine with me, I'll take Birbal's elder brother. He must be even better." So Akbar also was relieved because though he wanted to be generous to his brother, he did not want to lose Birbal. He was also relieved. So next day morning, in the court, grand send-off is being organized. Birbal came into the court with a bull on the tow. Akbar said, "What is this?" Birbal said, "This is my brother. We drank the milk of the same mother." Once your intellect gets identified with something, then you are all messed. So this identity is not on one level, it is on many, many, many levels. Because of this complex system of identification, you are in a complex mess. So on one level, it is a mess. On another level, it is a highly coordinated activity. If you… today much work has gone into looking at the activity of the mind or the brain as such. If you look at the way the neurons are firing in the brain and what is happening, there is a tremendous sense of cohesiveness in this activity. It is that cohesiveness which is translating into the function of the body. A billion things are happening in this body right now, simply because there is a very, very extremely highly coordinated play and dance of neurons in the brain. But mind as an experience for people, in most people's experience, unfortunately, it's become a mess. So it's a circus. Both the aspects of the circus are there. Even the clown in the circus is a gymnast, hugely coordinated, but he's made to look like a clown. So the outer expression may be that of a clown, but he's hugely talented and balanced in his activity. That is the experience of most people when it comes to their mental activity. So what is the possibility of this circus? How the circus can take you to great heights? How the circus can also render you to the depths of hell within yourself? Both are possible. Both these possibilities are very much alive for every one of us right now. So how we conduct this circus is a whole thing. How much of it can we take charge of is a whole thing. Why is it that mind, which is the most miraculous instrument, which is the most miraculous possibility in our life, has also become a misery manufacturing machine on this planet? Every kind of misery that human beings are going through is manufactured in their mind. Why is it for one person, mind seems to be a pleasant experience, and for another person, mind seems to be a torture? Unable to bear the mental torture, people have invented various kinds of deviations, various kinds of perversions on this planet just to somehow deal with the mess of the mind. And these perversions might have given them temporary relief, but after some time, it again multiplies the mess, it doesn't really take it away. The moment your intellect, let's differentiate between these two. Intellect is like a scalpel which is constantly cutting through everything. Your ability to discriminate between one thing and the other is purely because of your intellect. You can make a distinction between me and this seat only because your intellect is functioning. You know that you must come through the door, not through the wall, only because your intellect is functioning. Without the activity of the intellect, you cannot discriminate. So the basic process of discrimination, setting things apart, is happening because of the intellect. So this is like a scalpel which is cutting everything to give you some sense of perception. If a knife has to cut through anything effortlessly and well, it's extremely important that whatever that it cuts through does not stick to it. You cut a cake today, tomorrow you cut bread, day after tomorrow you cut something else. If all of it, the residue of it goes on sticking to this knife, after some time, this knife becomes a useless knife. I think some of you, in your kitchens, you must have experienced the ladies. You cut onions with this knife. After that, you go and cut mangoes, you go and cut apples, everything tastes like onion. Isn't it so? Because the residue of what you cut through, once it sticks to the knife, now that knife in many ways becomes more of a nuisance than of help. Or in other words, once your intellect gets identified with something or the other, after that, your intellect gets chained with identifications. Once this happens, you have a completely distorted experience of the mind. Your mind, that which should have been a ladder to the divine, unfortunately has become a stairway to hell. Simply because it is so identified with so many things. People keep telling me this, Sadhguru, for you, the biggest thing in your life just happened unasked. Maybe you're chosen. How will it happen to us? It is not a question of anybody's choosing anything for you. It is just that if you keep your intellect unidentified with anything, starting from your body, if you do not even identify yourself with the body, that if you do not look at yourself not even as a man or a woman, your family, your qualifications, your society, your caste, creed, community, nation, whatever, a million other identifications that you take on in your life. If you do not identify your intellect or if you do not encumber your intellect with any of these identifications, every human being will naturally lead himself on to his ultimate nature. There is no other way. When we started the home school, the first questions that came up is this going to be a spiritual school? Are you going to teach them spirituality? I said, that's one thing we won't do. There are variety of corruptions on the planet, but the spiritual and religious corruption has always been the most damaging because you get so strongly identified with this. Once this identification happens, you can't look beyond it. It encumbers your intellect. So if children are brought up without any sense of identity, you will see every human being will naturally lead himself towards his enlightenment. I must share this, it's I hope it is received with the necessary understanding, because this was a certain moment of intimacy, a certain moment of many things that cannot be expressed. I was just 14 years of age. My mother, who was a very devout, dedicated woman, for her, her whole life was her husband and 4 children, and she never thought anything about herself, she just gave her life to us. So there was no need for her to ever express that I love you or anything, such a thing was never expected. Whether she loves you or not is never a question, because her whole life is for you. So there's no question of whether she loves you or doesn't love you. Such a question never occurred in anybody's minds. I developed a kind of relationship with her where though I was the youngest in the family, I was like her elder brother in many ways. She would share things that she wouldn't share with anybody, and when I took advantage of that and joked, she would always regret, why am I sharing these things with you? So on a certain day, because of some interaction, somehow she grew a little tender in her heart and she expressed her love to me, not necessarily in I love you business, somehow. I grew up in such a way right from my childhood because of my memory, because I could remember things that happened when I was just 2, 3 months of age. It just didn't allow me to be like a normal child, I thought like an adult. So because of this, nobody could take me on their lap, nobody could fondle me, nobody could carry me. I always preferred to walk and do my own things. Even though my brother and sister were older to me, were used to be carried and fondled and all that, I did not get those things because somehow it was difficult to do those things to me. I'm still difficult, see. So this relationship was very different from normal thing, but that day she was somehow some tenderness and she wanted to express. She expressed something towards me. I simply asked, for me it was just very matter of fact. I just asked if I was born in the next house, would you still feel like this about me? She just broke down, it hurt her very much. She broke down and went away. I didn't intend to hurt her, I just asked a simple question, which these questions are constantly going on in me about everything, not just about one thing. And after some time, she came, still tears in her eyes, she came and fell at my feet, and then she went away. I said, that's good for her, some kind of realization within herself. Why I'm saying this is, our ways of thinking and feeling are so deeply identified with things we are associated with. Our body, our parentage, our children, our wife, our husband, our home. Not just that, with just about anything, isn't it? With just anything and anything. I remember my grandfather used to always eat in a gold-rimmed plate. He was a very rich man and a very proud man. If at any time for some reason, even when he travels, another traveling gold plate has to travel with him. Suppose that plate is not there, he just won't eat. He cannot eat the same damn food. What is the problem, whether you eat in a gold plate or a steel plate? Okay, you want to do things in style, it's okay. But the identification with something as simple as that is so deep that if he eats on another plate, he will become sick. His stomach will be disturbed. Your identifications are so very deep with big things and small things. Once you're identified like this, your mind is a mess of a circus. It will never raise to any great peak or pitch, it will be just a mess. Once you're very deeply identified, it is better not to insult the circus by calling your mind a circus. It's more a mental diarrhea. Non-stop, it is just going on endlessly. This cannot be stopped with a pill. People have tried the drink, the drug, all kinds of things, but it cannot be stopped that way. Only when you get disidentified, when you're able to be involved but not entangled, only then this is possible. Right now, because somewhere people realized that this identification is causing so much trouble, immediately they started giving you an antidote: detachment. The moment you detach yourself, your ability to experience life also is gone, because life can only be experienced with involvement. Where there is no involvement, there is no life. Is that so? The deeper the involvement, the deeper the experience of life. However small the event may be, however small a piece of life may be, if you are deeply involved, it's a very great experience for you. Nothing dramatic or spectacular need to happen in your life. If you're deeply, deeply involved with the simplest aspect of your life, you will see every aspect of your life is spectacular. So involvement is the only way to experience life. No involvement, there is really no life. But why is so much detachment being taught everywhere? Fear of entanglement. It is from that fear detachment is always being propagated. If you detach yourself from life, you're avoiding life. If you really want to avoid life, there are more efficient ways to do it. You know, you can jump off a mountain, you can consume poison, you can hang yourself. Whatever we do, we must do it efficiently, isn't it? If you want to really avoid life, you just have to hang yourself. What is the idea? Are you here to experience life or are you here to avoid life? Which way is it? Experience life? Can you experience life unless you're involved? But right now there is a fear of entanglement. If I involve myself, maybe I'll get entangled. Entanglement has happened because of the discriminatory nature of your involvement. You're only involved with this one, not with that one. Your involvement is coming from a certain identification. I am involved with this person because this is my wife, this is my husband, this is my child, this is my home, this is my that. It is coming because of a certain identity. Otherwise, there's no involvement with life. It is the identification which is causing the entanglement, not the involvement. If your involvement is beyond your identification, you will see involvement brings absolute joy of life. If your involvement was indiscriminate, you were simply involved with every life around you just the same way, the very air that you breathe, the very land that you're standing on. If you are deeply involved, you will see involvement enhances life in a tremendous way. If life is not enhanced within you, all the higher possibilities of life also will never happen to you. In the process of becoming spiritual or trying to be spiritual, lot of people have become like goats. I don't want to insult goats. Because if you practice how not to be involved with life, then slowly you will become more and more lifeless, less of life as days go by. Too much of mind, very little of life. As life recedes in you, you will see nothing fantastic can ever happen. Only if life is exuberantly happening within you, it can carry you to higher possibilities. So mind is not a cap on life. Mind is a way to liberate life. Just now also, everywhere you go, you must control the mind.